Hello people of the internet, my name is Johnny and welcome back to another reaction video. Today, the second episode of my phone ringing. The second episode of MatPat's final FNaF theory has been released. Literally, it's been released like a few minutes ago as of the recording of this section of the video. And I just want to jump straight into it because I'm super excited. I probably should have rewatched the first video before this, but I'm too excited. Hopefully you don't get a copyright claim this time, because on the first reaction video, we did get a copyright claim. Good thing that's still up. I was actually scared that I was going to have to be taken down, but let's just jump straight into it. I'm really excited. Okay, what I did was I actually left it on this ad, just to make sure I didn't see any sneak peeks beforehand, so let's do this. Skip ad.
Dear diary.
Not that cutscene again.
Here, he's there, he's everywhere.
Well, who are you going to call? Psychic friend Fred Bear.
Who are you gonna call? Psychic friend Fred. This time you'll have to keep up
But with me.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, then FNaF 4 was released early.
The phone guy.
Exotic, but butters.
It's me. Okay. Should I turn my laptop off? Not the fan. Most threatening character.
Welcome to Game Theory, where, before we close the book on our final FNaF theory, it's
Actually scared me a little bit.
time to open the book on new Back to School merch.
Whoa.
Or back to work post-summer vacation merch. Anyway, you guys know that I take merch super seriously. But
Very.
this time, I wanted to try something really different. You guys clearly like mysteries and theories, right? Well, this...
Hold on. Hold on. Wait, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. Should I put this on? I'll leave it down there.
is, as far as I know, the first ever YouTuber merch that gets totally meta. That's right, I have personally made a real-world mystery for you to solve alongside the rest of the theorist community hidden inside of this round of merch. This first one isn't too hard.
That's weird.
It's about a 5-step treasure hunt, but it's something I'd like to do moving forward with all future merch pushes.
Oh, that's actually really cool.
If this
That's actually really clever.
gets you warmed up, future ones are gonna get real serious. Oh, and of course, there's a real-life reward to the first 100 people who get to the end of this little treasure hunt.
And that is also awesome.
They're gonna be in the same group as the people with the golden coins from last merch.
I want a golden coin.
You know,
I didn't get a
rewards are
golden
coming.
coin.
We're keeping track of this stuff. So, where could these clues be hiding? Well, let me show you what I got. This time we worked with a factory for 4 months
that's
to
pretty
have a
cool.
specialty fabric made for our t-shirts. This isn't just your typical ink some stuff on a shirt merch. It is all built into the fabric itself. It comes in Genocide Run or Pacifist Run editions. Or you can be a total completionist and get both. Also, since it's back to school season, we made a new heavier duty backpack. Like, this thing is solid. It is loaded with tons of pockets and places to store pretty much everything you own. It is rugged enough to hike up a mountain, or let's be serious, more likely to be loaded down with 5 AP textbooks and dragged between convention halls at Anime Expo.
It's probably what it's going to be mostly used for.
Do all of those things too. There are
Magical
new socks to
backpack.
complete your outfit, since, let's face it, you can never have enough neon green articles of clothing. A pop socket, which, if you're not familiar with them, is the single most useful phone device that you will ever own. Hate dropping your phone on your face at night? Well, now you don't have
I did not expect that. Hit him right in the eye, it looked like.
to. You want to prop up that phone to binge watch some FNaF theories? Pop that socket. You want an easier way to take photos? Sock it to me. Get 2 and you wrap your headphone cord around it. Seriously, these things are the best. They're so darn simple and they are so effective. And what back-to-school collection would be complete without your own
I'll make sure to post that.
moleskin notebook? Now, I know from meeting you all at conventions that so many of you are either artists, writers, or theorists of your own looking for notebooks to house your ideas. So this was something that I thought a lot of you would appreciate.
I
It even
want
comes
that.
complete with some pages ripped straight out of my own theory brainstorms. All of it works great, it looks great, but most importantly of all, it's gonna make you feel great. So get on it. Ace
I
your
want
back to
that.
school look right now by heading over to the merch site. It went live with this episode. Or you can always wait until the end of the episode where I can throw that link right into the video itself, or you can always dual wield the windows next to each other so you can do both at the same time.
We
The only
could.
thing I gotta say is do it now, because when we run out, this stuff is gone. Everything is limited edition, and the last round of merch we had, some stuff started to sell out in the first 24 hours. If you place an order
wow.
this week, you're guaranteed to get it before the end of the month, so go ahead, give it a look. I hope you like what you see, and I cannot wait to see you sport some new Game Theory green. Now then, let's wrap up FNaF, shall we? Even though this is part 2 of the timeline, we've still got a lot to cover, so in the words of Phil DeFranco,
let's just jump into it.
when
Let's just jump into it.
last we left things, we'd covered everything up through the second Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria location.
Which isn't that far in the timeline.
Things like why the missing children's incident must be the first event of the timeline, the identity of Golden Freddy, why Circus Baby's Pizza World has to come earlier in the timeline than most people expect, and a quick review over how Michael Afton is the crying child from FNaF 4. But all of that left us with a big question. If Michael Afton is the crying child who gets himself bit,
how does he come back?
To come back later in the timeline for games like Sister Location and Pizzeria Simulator? Well, this is where the books once again come in to give us the solution that no one would have predicted.
Guys.
You see, at the end of FNaF 4, we get the lines, "We are still your friends." Do you
I remember
believe that? I
Kind
will
of.
put you back together. We've never
The classic line.
actually established who speaks those words. Ultimately, the best guess that we had was the puppet. But here's the
Puppet,
thing.
Golden Freddy,
It can't
William,
be the puppet.
anybody.
Based on this, my final and best timeline of events, William hasn't killed Henry's daughter yet. The puppet isn't possessed yet. Instead, that line is more likely coming from William. It's him making a fateful promise to his dead son. I will put you back together. The thing is, he takes that promise a lot more literally than any of us would have ever suspected. He is literally promising to physically put his son back together as a robot. And we know from the final FNaF novel, the fourth
Okay.
closet, that William in that story is obsessed with bringing life to these machines. And even more
Still have not finished the book. Still gonna get spoilers.
importantly, we know that in Scott's vision of this world, robots who think they're human and don't realize that they're robots is a real thing. A huge twist at the end
Of course it is. A huge twist at the end of the book. I have not finished reading. Fine.
of the final FNaF novel is that the main character, Charlie, Henry's daughter, is
gonna be a robot.
actually revealed to be one of these sorts of robots. And not just
Thought so.
a single robot, mind you. Charlie is one in a series of 4 robots. That's what the title of the book is referencing. She was kidnapped and
Oh, I was way far off. I thought it was talking about the closets that are in Charlie's dad's house, Henry's house. Well,
killed by Afton as a 3-year-old girl, and in his grief over losing his daughter, Henry built 4 robotic versions of her,
Baby
each
child, teen
one
woman.
slightly older than the last, implanting each version with memories so that she could grow up just like a normal
What's
kid.
that?
Quote, Charlie would be a baby, then a little girl, and then a sulky teenager, then at last she would be a woman. She would be finished. Perfect. End quote. It's weird, definitely, and it opens up a
that is definitely weird.
whole heck of a lot of plot holes in the novel, but I honestly think that this might be what happens to Michael Afton in the games. Clearly, he dies during the bite of 83. The survival logbook confirms this over and over and over again. That is locked in.
Yep.
But Michael
Still
is
got that.
literally rebuilt by Afton, put back together by William. The books allude to it, it fits with the timeline, and most importantly of all, it explains why he doesn't die after getting scooped in Sister Location.
I should be dead.
But I'm not.
Why his memory is so foggy throughout the survival logbook, but most importantly of all, why he can only die through fire. Have you ever stopped to consider that? Michael
You know, I cannot say I have. I don't really go around tracing all the connections to the books, to how people can die, and how people can't die. but I'm willing to listen.
Afton lives through getting himself scooped at the end of Sister Location, but passes on just like all the other animatronics at the end of FNaF 6, when the remnant
Does make
in his
sense.
body is burned away. Remember, based on our timeline, William Afton has already seen his daughter die in Circus Baby, and has also probably seen that her spirit possesses the suit. So he knows it's possible for a living spirit to be inside these robots. It actually might be why he sends Michael down to explore Sister Location in the first place.
To go and find her.
Father, it's me, Michael.
I did it. I found
Put
it.
it back together.
Oh, sorry.
Just like you asked me to.
I guess
He
we're not
knows
doing that
Michael's
then.
sister, his daughter, is still down there, so he's aware of what she is, and it might be his way of breaking the news to Michael. Hey there, kiddo. There was something I was meaning to tell you, but unfortunately, I'm kinda trapped in a wall right now. So go down into that creepy cellar I have and pay a visit to your sister. She might prompt some really existential revelations. And lastly, consider this. In the bonus cut,
That would be one heck of a talk to sit your son down and be like, hey, son, listen, you're in a wall. Your sister's kinda dead, but also still kinda not. But if you want to go see her, you totally can. Just go down to the basement. She's there. She's gonna be there. You're in the wall. So just go say hi to your sister every now and then.
scenes for Sister Location, Baby establishes that she knows that Michael can't die.
won't die, you won't die, you won't die,
But you wish you could.
you won't die.
So she might just recognize that they're one and the same. This insane sounding theory, and trust me, I recognize that it sounds completely bonkers, may actually tie into the mystery of the FNaF 4 box. What's in it? It might
Didn't you already make an episode on that?
actually be Michael Afton's body. Yeah, remember how I just
Oh, I get it. Because, spoiler alert, in the fourth closet, Charlie, one version of Charlie, I don't even know at this point, one version of Charlie's in, like, a green chest in her aunt's house. It's weird. I literally just finished reading that section, and it blew my mind.
said that in the fourth closet, the main character was actually the third in a series of 4 robots? Well, she almost gets herself killed at the end of book 2 and is discovered midway through book 3, locked in a box that sounds very similar to the one that appears at the end of FNaF 4.
Yeah.
Quote, John moved to a large green chest, the paint almost entirely worn off. There was no lock. John knelt beside it, found the handle, and heaved it open, then shuddered. It's Charlie, he said hoarsely. In the chest. She was locked in a box. That's insane. She was locked in a box. Who knows for how long? Days? Months? End quote. I actually know how long she was trapped in the box. It was 6 months. So anyway.
Thanks for, well, spoilers. I should just finish reading the book. That's what I should do.
Is this definitive proof of what's in the box and that Michael Afton is a robot? No. But it's definitely circumstantial evidence, and think about this. Remember that Scott kept the box locked because he was worried that the fan base wouldn't accept the answer to what was inside of it. Well, can you blame him? If he kept a broken robot kid inside of the box, that would probably upset a few people because at this point in the series, it would literally come out of nowhere. Up to FNaF 4, this was just the story of a creepy, haunted animatronic pizzeria. Nothing about robot kids or anything like that. The last
Ah, the simpler times. Those are nice. Those are nice.
stretch of this series just went into some weird directions. Anyway, with the bite of 83, Fredbear's Family Diner closes, leaving only Freddy Fazbear's second location, Junior's, a new, larger location with upgraded security in the form of the toy animatronics. But after all the missing children from their last endeavor, Henry wanted to take an extra special precaution to further protect his daughter. He installed an upgraded surveillance system in the form of security puppets, specifically programmed to watch one child, his daughter. As an added nod to where Security Puppet fits into the timeline, Scott very clearly included the puppet's signature gift box as part of the visuals in its minigame in FNaF 6, a box that only occurs in the FNaF 2 location. You can even see what looks to be wanted posters in the back alley, thereby establishing that a crime had been committed in this area previously. William Afton returns, and because he's a prime
Juniors, robots and pizza.
suspect in the missing children's incident, is not allowed back at the pizzeria. pizzeria. That's why we see him turned away at the door to Junior's. As a result, he's forced to kill Henry's daughter outside, behind the facility. Her soul goes on to possess the security puppet, and she proceeds to give life to all the other lost souls still trapped in the original 5 animatronics. We know this based on the Save Them minigame, where we see the puppet searching for someone to help the dead children lying around the pizzeria. The toy animatronics are standing on stage lifeless, but most tellingly of all, we see the original versions of Foxy, Chica, and Bonnie inactive in the parts and supply room, and yet Freddy is somehow able to freely move around. This shows us that some of the OG animatronics haven't been given gifts given life yet. It's also worth noting that on rare instances we get an Easter egg of Golden Freddy broken there on the floor, his ghostly self
I've seen that sometimes. It's pretty creepy.
phasing into and out of existence. And that's not all. Get close to him, and for a brief moment you catch a glimpse of a white dot appearing in his eye. Golden Freddy has the spirit of Cassidy already in him, except there are 2 problems. First, he's a spring-lock suit. Unlike the others, he can't freely move around because he's not kept in animatronic mode. Despite the puppet's best attempts, Cassidy will be forever trapped in a suit that is perpetually slumped over. But secondly, the yellow Golden Freddy suit is being kept, like we saw, in the FNaF 4 location. Hence why in FNaF 2 and then onward in the series, he's forced to remain as
Sorry, I didn't mean to pause.
spirit. Afton continues to sneak into the pizzeria disguised as a security guard, using his signature spring-lock suit and crank to kill kids. This prompts the animatronics to get angry and attack anyone in a security guard uniform. As we see throughout the
Kick that!
FNaF novels, and as the puppet reinforces an ultimate custom night,
The others are like animals, but I am very aware.
so they're not rationally thinking, which results in night guard turned day guard Jeremy Fitzgerald getting his frontal lobe bit in an event known as the Bite of 87, and henceforth animatronics are no longer allowed to free roam in the restaurant.
But who did the bite?
In total, another 5 children die in the FNaF 2 location, again shown through the Save Them minigame, before the place is shut down and the toy animatronics get scrapped, since, let's be honest, they were all kind of crap at their job anyway. But more importantly, it's at this point that Afton realizes the power of children's souls. It's here where he first sees the animatronics moving freely, possessed by the spirits of the dead children and activated by the puppet. And here, through the end of the series, his mission changes. He's no longer just killing kids. He's now looking to actively harness that power for himself so he can be immortal. It's a goal that he expresses in the 4th closet.
You know, we just keep returning to the 4th closet.
Quote, "You killed them. They died in the suits. Their bodies were bound inside along with their souls. The spirit follows the flesh, it would seem, and also the pain. If I wish to become my own immortal creation, my body must lead my spirit to its eternal home." This affects all his future actions in the series. So when the withered animatronics get sent back to the FNaF 1 location for storage and the possible reopening of the pizzeria, William tracks them back to dismantle them and discover their power. This leads to the cutscenes from FNaF 3,
I was about to
where
say.
William systematically lures the original animatronics to the back safe room one by one, only to dismantle them. Before, these cutscenes seemed super random. It just seemed like him trying to get rid of the animatronics for reasons. But now, thanks to the novels, we actually know why he did it, to dissect the robots and experiment on them. And it's these experiments that end up producing the Funtime animatronics.
Oh.
One big lingering
I got so confused, like, why is Funtime Foxy there?
question mark of the series was the nature of the Funtime animatronics deep underground during Sister Location. How were they alive? Were they possessed by more dead kids? Well, we finally have our answer there, courtesy of Candy Cadet and the 4th Closet. Now, back in FNaF 6, Candy Cadet's
I will
stories
tell
were a
you
bit of
a
a mystery.
story.
Each one had to do with 5 things becoming one thing. 5 keys melted together, 5 orphans sewn together to fit into one coffin, 5 kittens sacrificed and then combined to fit into one shoebox. It seemed like it was referring to Ennard, the amalgamation of all the other animatronic parts, but the math was always kinda wonky. Ennard consisted of Baby, Ballora, Funtime Freddy, and Funtime Foxy, which is just 4 animatronics. Maybe if you squinted at it, you would include the Bonnie puppet, but that seemed like a stretch. And as a result, we just weren't quite sure what was going on with those stories. Luckily, the release of the 4th Closet has cleared this mystery up. Quote, "A single figure stood still amongst the chaos, out of phase with the surroundings. At first, it seemed to be a man bent over a table, but as Carlton's head throbbed with waves of confusion, the man became a yellow rabbit, not standing over a table, but over 5 children, tied together as one. He knew exactly what he was looking at. The endoskeletons of the original Freddy's animatronics, welded and melted together, immobile and featureless, and still inhabited by the spirits of the children who had been murdered inside of them so many years ago. Still filled with life and motion and thought, all trapped, all in terrible pain. End quote. So in the FNaF 3 cutscenes, we see William dismantle the animatronics. From there, he melts down their endoskeletons to discover the secret of their everlasting life. He then uses this molten spirit metal, Remnant, to infuse life into his new creation.
Molten spirit metal. I like that better than Remnant.
It's the Funtime animatronics. Quote again, the table's surface was glowing orange and the hot metal hissed. William took a syringe from the woman's hand and thrust it into the squirming thing forcefully. He drew the plunger up, holding the needle steady as the syringe filled with molten substance. He staggered back toward the bear. The man again pried open the heavy chest plate of the standing, broken bear, then carefully inserted the syringe he held directly into the chest cavity and began to press the plunger down. What this and the Candy Cadet stories tell us is that the Funtimes weren't just possessed by new kids, they were created from the remnant of the original 5, fused together into one chaotic, confused spiritual mess. Like Ennard said from his original teaser for Sister Location,
there's a little of me in everybody.
In
every I was close.
Body. From those experiments, William is able to open Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rentals, the underground facility from Sister Location. Using Remnant, he brings life to animatronics specifically designed to lure and trap kids so he can have more test subjects for his experiments. He then rents the robots out to special events and other locations. Why isn't there a Funtime Chica in Sister Location? Simply because she's rented out. We see this hidden in the source code to Scott's website around the time of Sister Location's release. Chica's Party World is a separate location, a client of Afton Robotics, and as such, she's not being kept underground with the rest of them. That's why she's gone, only to then reappear in FNaF 6 and Custom Night. But there was—
oh god, no, I don't want to look at it.
one thing that William Afton didn't anticipate in all his plans: the spirits of the children wanting revenge. Now that they were freed from their animatronic prisons, they corner William in the safe room of the first Freddy Fazbear's restaurant, forcing him to hide out in the Golden Bonnie suit, which snaps shut, almost killing him, but not quite. It just transforms him into Springtrap. The restaurant seals the safe room and everything inside to escape liability.
The previously mentioned safe rooms are being sealed at most locations, including this one.
To me, this seems like the actions of Henry. Who else would seal a bloody, living body in a hidden room in a pizzeria? Henry seems like the best bet, but we can't know for sure. Regardless, Afton is locked back there until the year 2023 when Fazbear Fright opens. The phone dude discovers the hidden room and sets Afton, now Springtrap, loose once more. From there, we know pretty much everything else. Springtrap haunts Fazbear Fright only to have it burned down. It seems to me that this again was Henry's doing. The ultimate Custom Night Samurai cutscenes symbolize their relationship. William Afton is the fox, and Freddy is Henry, the bear of vengeance. The last line of dialogue in these samurai cutscenes says it best: I will pursue the fox. I will find him in whatever land he has fled to. It is my destiny, and it is his. Throughout the games, Henry is constantly trying to thwart William in escalating fashion. He starts by getting him kicked out of the FNaF 2 location. He then tries to get him arrested in the aftermath of the missing children's incident. He traps him bleeding and spring-locked in the walls of Freddy Fazbear's, and finally he sets him on fire not just once in Fazbear Fright, but a second time in Pizzeria Simulator. Meanwhile, the rebuilt Michael Afton, Michael version 2.0, searches for his dad to get some answers. He starts in Sister Location, meets Baby, but falls victim to the plot of the furious tangle of spirits held in the various Funtime animatronics. Together, they form Ennard and scoop Michael's body in an attempt to escape their prison. The scooping plan works, but Michael survives because, remember, he's a robot. Baby seems to know this based on her repeated use of
You won't die, you won't die, you won't die.
More in need of answers than ever before, Michael promises his father,
I'm going to come find you.
which leads us at last to FNaF 6. Even though the puppet tried to free the spirits of the dead children in FNaF 3, it doesn't quite work. This is because the spirits were no longer complete, with parts of their souls now trapped in the Funtime animatronics, which themselves are now in the form of Molten Freddy. This is why Paragraph 4 is such a big deal throughout FNaF 6. Based on the insanity ending blueprints, Paragraph 4 stipulates that all creatures containing Remnant must be in the pizzeria by the end of the week, so that when it burns, everyone goes with it. All remaining Remnant must be purged in order for the souls to finally be set free. Michael accepts the role as night guard at the simulated pizzeria. Henry summons all the animatronics there, burns it all to the ground, and finally releases everyone, including condemning William to hell. Well, he didn't release everyone. Golden Freddy, still a vengeful spirit, has a bone to pick with Willy, so she traps him in purgatory, forcing him to suffer for eternity.
Still kind of weird to hear Golden Freddy referred to as a she.
At the hands of the monsters he created. And despite Old Man Consequences telling her to relax, she won't quit. Hence her soul still being in Golden Freddy's twitching eyes as he fades out into the darkness and as the series hits its final notes. I don't know about you, but between these last two videos, I think that's about as thorough as you could possibly want. So there you have it, FNaF theorists. As deep of a deep dive as I can go, trying to answer as many questions as possible, all while putting things into an order that makes sense while also accounting for as much of the evidence as possible. Is it a perfect timeline? No, but I don't think there can be. I think Mr. Hippo's custom night lines point us in that direction.
I suppose if a person just wants to talk, then it's best to not announce that you're telling a story. Telling a story does come with its own pressures and expectations, I suppose. After all, if you're just talking to a friend, and there's no more expectations than if you were talking into the wind. Words by themselves aren't expected to carry, aren't expected to stick. But if you announce you're telling a story, well then, there'd better be a point to it all, you know?
And conversely, at some point, you just analyze down a story to the point of meaninglessness. In the end, whether this whole timeline is right or wrong, decoding FNaF's labyrinth of lore has been the single most exciting and enjoyable challenge I've covered on this channel. Yeah, we've covered it. A lot. A bit more than I would have liked, quite honestly, but for good reason. Few games give their story this much thought, and even fewer games tell their stories in such a compelling, mysterious way. I've said this for a while now, but FNaF is the perfect modern game. It's cheap, if not free, so anyone can play it. The mechanics are simple. It's fun to watch other people play it.
Like right damn it!
And it seeds in Easter eggs that get other people talking online. 4 years later, and still, only a handful of indie games and practically zero AAA games have followed in its footsteps, despite FNaF's massive success. And that, perhaps, is the single greatest and saddest mystery of them all. If this truly is the end, thanks God for an incredible ride and providing a game that has forever changed my life and this channel. But hey, that's just a
Oh god, no, not FNaF 7.
theory. A game theory. Thank you for watching every single one of these videos. Woo! Now that the FNaF mystery is solved, go out and solve my merch mystery. I'm not going to be doing a theory on this one,
Okay.
so it is up to you to come to the solution. Remember, first 100 people to solve the mystery.
That was great. That's a good way to end the franchise. Nearly 4 years. Still incredible. He did an amazing job piecing that together. I think maybe I may go over it one more time. Moxie, what, are you okay? I think I may do a video on like the full timeline just to explain it a bit. Definitely not as good as what Matt did. So that was incredible. These past two theories have been really spot on. I feel like he included every detail he could, which is really important when it comes to these games, because there's a lot of details, and the tiniest one can throw you off. So I'm glad that he, took evidence from the books, took evidence from the games. It really helps bring a conclusion to the games, and to the franchise as a whole, which just really makes me happy, and I think it makes the entire community happy to see it go in such a good, fine concluding way, which is really how many other games should do it. Like he said, that it is a great franchise. Like, I've seen many people overlook it, or not overlook it, but like dismiss it just because it's so popular, but it's like truly a great franchise. It's got, interesting story, it's got, character development, like with William from his killing spree to trying to be immortal with his past killing sprees. It really is a great franchise. There's a bug in my wall. But yeah, that was really good. So, like I did last time, hopefully don't get a claim on this one. If we do, hopefully it still can be up, and I want to take it down. But I'll leave a link to this video. I'll leave a link to the merch, to his merch as well, just in case you want to get some. I know hopefully I might. But, and I think there's one more. I'll just leave it to, oh yeah, the playlist. So go check it out. It's really great to go back and rewatch some past theories. His first theory was pretty good for what he had at the time. I think that was basically what everyone was thinking. But just seeing the franchise evolve over the 4 years, it has been really great. But anyway, I actually really need to go. I was supposed to leave maybe about 45 minutes ago. Before the theory came out, I was supposed to go. So I'm gonna go. Thank you all. Thank you guys. That's not my outro. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the flip side. Goodbye.